Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Daviess County Fiscal Court to order. Today is Thursday, April 30th, 2026. Commissioner Marksberry, would you please lead us in the prayer and the pledge?
Yes, if you'll stand with me, please. Heavenly Father, we come before you with humble hearts, seeking your wisdom and your truth in a time that often feels uncertain and unsettled. There is so much noise in the world around us, so many voices pulling us in different directions, and so many teachings that drift away from your word. Help us to remain anchored in what is true. Remind us that your word alone is steady, unchanging, and right. Lord, as we walk through this final year of this fiscal court, we ask for your guidance. We are divided on important matters, and at times it is difficult to see the path forward. Set aside our personal preferences and quiet our pride so that we may serve not ourselves, but your will for this county. Give us unity where there is division and clarity where there is confusion. We thank you for the blessing of this land, the beauty of Daviess County, the fields, the farms, and the heritage we have been entrusted to steward. As we see the fields planted once more, we're reminded that you are a God who renews, restores, and brings life where there was once only waiting. Lord, we ask for your protection over this place we call home. Guard our community, our farmland, and our way of life. And as challenges draw closer, seen and unseen, give us discernment and courage. When trouble approaches like a wolf at the door, help us not to be fearful, but watchful and prepared. Strengthen us to stand firm in what is right, to protect what has been entrusted to us, and to act with wisdom rather than reaction. Make us strong in our convictions, but also humble in our service. Help us recognize the urgency of the work before us and give us the courage to act faithfully in the time we have. We place all of this in your hands in Jesus' name, amen. Now the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Brooke?
1, consideration for presentation. A, Executive Order Number 03-2026, Parks and Recreational Working Committee.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Judge, this is simply an update in the membership of the committee. Per our process in the administrative code, the membership scope and other details of each committee are established by executive order. So this executive order functionally replaces the prior.
Thank you.
2, consideration for approval. A, minutes of April 16, 2026, Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. We've all had the minutes a few days to review. Do I hear any corrections, additions, or deletions?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
B, all claims for all departments.
Motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion and a second. These are all the bills due and payable by Daviess County Fiscal Court. Are there any questions for the treasurer? No. Commissioner Condor.
Just a commentary, please, Judge. I noticed that in the claims that I believe a check, I'm not for sure how it was actually done, but $260,000 was sent to the city for the Senior Citizen Center. I believe in the claims, it's first page. And it looks as if that may be completing the $500,000 challenge that this court did. And if that is the case, I would like to just turn around to the rest of yourself, Judge, and the commissioners and say, thank you. They have raised more than the $500,000, and I think are on a great path for a lot of their FF&E that they will need outside of construction. So with that being the case, I thank you very much for that commentary.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are you finding it, Jordan? I'm pretty sure that what Commissioner Connor laid out is what that was.
Yes.
We received a email from Mr. Tucker saying that they had raised in excess of the 500,000. I believe we had already submitted the 240 to them, and so this wraps up that $500,000 commitment that this court had made to them. And again, for those who might be watching, not have a clue what we're talking about, the truth of the matter is we were very explicit saying that it could not come from, it had to be donations. It could not come from another government or just had to be generosity of somebody. So,
Private donations came in once that challenge was put out in front of everyone and exceeded expectations. So
yes,
Thanks to this commission for doing so.
yes. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
C, Resolution 11-2026 and fiscal year 2027 County Road Aid Cooperative Agreement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion second. Mr. Johnson.
This is the county road aid we receive annually, which is an allocation of the motor fuel taxes imposed by the state that offsets the expense of the road department. The allocation for fiscal year 2027 is $1,478,398.80. This is down from the fiscal year 2026 allocation of approximately $1.8 million, as was discussed in the budget work session. We receive this funding in installments. The first 60% we receive typically in August, then 30% typically in February, and then the final distribution is based on actual revenues. The state withholds 3% of the total allocation for an emergency fund. This emergency fund is made up of 3% of the total apportionments of all participating counties to be made available to any participant up to 50% of their total allocation for an emergency project. The funding can only be used on the construction, reconstruction, and maintenance of county roads, and the accompanying resolution is a requirement of the agreement. This is a standard annual process. I would recommend your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any questions for Mr. Johnson from the court?
No.
Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
D, Memorandum of Agreement between the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Justice and Public Safety Cabinet, Office of the Secretary, Office of Drug Control Policy, and Daviess County Fiscal Court to establish an agreement for the Daviess County, Kentucky ASAP Local Board.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Got a motion and second. Mr. Johnson.
The local ASAP board's fiscal year 2027 budget was approved by the state in the amount of $20,000. Daviess County Fiscal Court acts only as the fiscal agent for these funds as laid out in this memorandum of agreement. I, as the county treasurer, prepare the local ASAP board's financial statements and issue payment from the restricted funds for approved expenditures once the necessary criteria have been met. This is a standard annual agreement, and as a note, given the state's time restriction for this program, I, at their request, have already signed and submitted it to facilitate their processing, so this approval would be a ratification of that signature and submission. I request your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any questions or comments from the court?
No.
Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
E, Lease Agreement with Kentucky Scholastic 3D Archery for utilization of the Mattingly Target Shooting Range.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Got a motion and second. Mr. Johnson.
Kentucky Scholastic 3D Archery approached the county to rent the Mattingly Target Shooting Range for their state 3D archery tournament on June 5th to June 7th of this year. As per our usual process, we evaluated the revenue that the facility has historically received during that time period over the last few years and arrived at the proposed total rental fee of $1,800, to which Kentucky S3DA was agreeable. The presented lease agreement is to accomplish that end. Legal and I have reviewed it. It is in order, and we see no issues.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any questions or comments from the court? No. Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
F, Security Services Agreements through the Daviess County Sheriff's Office.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Mr. Johnson.
These are security services agreements through the Daviess County Sheriff's Office whereby all expenses incurred to service the agreements are recouped by the fees. This approval is a ratification of the judge executive's signature, since these are oftentimes sensitive. And as a note, for the benefit of the court and public, the sheriff maintains full authority of all such contracts with his office, both in initiation and execution. I see no issues.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any questions or comments from the court? No. Any questions or comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
G, deed of easement on Lamplight Circle for siren pole and tornado warning siren.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson?
Bid number 252617 was awarded in fiscal court session October 2nd of 2025 for one new community notification siren to be installed on Oak Drive in Daviess County. When preparing to install, our awarded contractor, Ohio Valley Two-Way Radio, noted that installation would ultimately prove difficult due to several utility placements, and they strongly recommended a change of location. This deed of easement on Lamplight Circle in Daviess County is to accommodate installation at a newly chosen location for the siren. This new site is in close proximity to the prior and affords the same coverage area for emergency notifications. Public Safety Director Jeremy Smith, legal, and I have reviewed it, and we see no issues.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any questions or comments from the court?
No.
Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
H, contract with Daviess County Public Schools for the transportation of non-public school students.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson?
The Daviess County Public School System invoices Daviess County Fiscal Court to provide bus transport for non-public school students in the county per KRS 158.115. The state reimburses us for this expense on a slight lag to allow the school system time to reconcile the expenses. This contract is for the school system to provide transport services and invoice fiscal court throughout fiscal year 2027. We will apply for reimbursement in the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2027. The court has participated in this program for over 20 years.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any questions or comments from the court?
No.
Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
I, contract with Axiom Architecture for St. Joseph Volunteer Fire Department overhead door design services.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Ms. Sturgeon?
This is the contract for Axiom Architecture to produce the drawings and specifications for use to bid the widening of the center bay door to accommodate both the engine and brush truck at St. Joseph Volunteer Fire Station. We only require service items 1 through 5 in the amount of $3,800. This project is budgeted and the design fee is within the expected range per project manager Bickett. Axiom Architecture is a known vendor.
Thank you, Ms. Sturgeon. Any questions or comments from the court? Commissioner Marksberry?
Thank you. It was brought to my attention by one of the firefighters that I guess they needed to widen this door and that they had found a way to do that, I guess themselves, and it was going to be a lot less money than what we are going to be looking at now. I just wanted to clarify that this is something that has to be done with an architectural service. It's jumped the price up, I understand, from about $8,000 to about $40,000 for the total project for the overhead door. Just like to discuss that a little bit while we have to go through that process.
Well, the state, we fall under the state building code, and it was brought to my attention this morning that any public works projects, no matter the building size, no matter how few people are going to be in the dwelling, we are required by state law to follow KRS. It says clearly here on the public works section, construction of a new building, renovation or alterations to an existing building, or the change of use of an existing building that is owned by the state or any of its political subdivisions, including local governments. Public works shall be in accordance with the requirements of KRS 322.360 and KRS 323.033. And I've got 322.360 here, and it clearly says public work required to be done under a professional engineer or licensed architect. Neither the state nor any of its political subdivisions, and the county is one, shall engage in the construction of any public work involving engineering unless the plans, specifications, and estimates have been prepared and the construction executed under the direct supervision of a professional engineer or a licensed architect.
I guess my concern is it's just replacing a door.
And this is not just a door like those doors over
No, it's
there.
an overhead door, I
It is
know that.
going, and it's going, my understanding is going from a 14-foot door to an 18-foot door. And so part of the wall is going to have to be torn out. It's not just a matter of replacing those two doors.
No, I
So-
understand that completely.
And
I know
that's-
what an overhead door is.
And so that is the purpose, that is the reason that these KRSs kick in, is because we're not just doing a simple replacement. We are doing a change in that door, and it's a significant change.
It's a significant amount of money to the county as well, but thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else from the court have? Commissioner Condor?
Just a point of clarification, I suppose whatever the funds might be or whatever the cost turns out to be, is going to be coming from a budgeted line item that I believe we approved last year for this year of $100,000, I believe, for capital improvements or repairs to the properties that we own. But currently, there's maybe, 30-something thousand dollars, I believe. Is that correct, Director Smith? 33, thank you. So the funds are there, currently appropriated in the budget line item. There may be a little bit of potential overrun there, but I just want to make sure that everyone understands that it has been budgeted for in a way to where this needed to be addressed, because I think they've actually hit the door with one of their engines at least once is what has happened. So this needs to be addressed significantly to make sure they don't take the wall down. So thank you very much. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone from the public wish to speak to this item? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No,
Motion. Were you a no or a yes?
no, I said aye.
Okay, all right,
said any
that was
opposed.
unanimous.
J, rate schedule for Davis County Fiscal Court.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Ms. Sturgeon.
This is the rate schedule we update annually for goods and services offered by fiscal court that are subject to the state sales tax. The changes from the last approved rate schedule are the removal of wrapped hay bales at the landfill, addition of a discounted rate for older ammunition, and an adjustment to regular ammunition. All other rates remain the same, and no department reported any desire to alter any other rate.
Thank you, Ms. Sturgeon. Any questions or comments from the court?
No,
Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
K, award bid number 2526-55, pickleball courts project.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Ms. Sturgeon.
We received 5 bids and recommend award to the best evaluated bid submitted by KM Construction Services in the total amount of $410,500 for the construction of 8 additional pickleball courts at Yellow Creek Park. This budgeted project will increase the number of courts from 6 to 14 and will include lighting. Please note we are not awarding to the lowest bidders due to exceptions management found unacceptable. There were no exceptions to the specification. KM Construction Services is a known vendor, and I would recommend approval.
Thank you, Ms. Sturgeon. Any questions or comments from the court? No. Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
L, award bid number 2526-64, crushed limestone.
Motion to approve.
second.
Got a motion and a second. Ms. Sturgeon.
We received 1 bid and recommend award to the only responsive bid submitted by Molzer Crushed Stone Incorporated for the provision of limestone, river gravel, and sand used by our Public Works and Solid Waste Departments for the attached schedule of rates. Molzer Crushed Stone Incorporated is a known vendor and has held this bid previously with no issues. There were no exceptions to the specification, and I would recommend approval.
Thank you, Ms. Sturgeon. Any questions or comments from the court?
No.
Any questions or comment from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
M, award RFQ 2526-71, athletic courts repair.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, Ms. Sturgeon.
We received 3 quotes and recommend award to the lowest and best evaluated quote submitted by Tennis Technology for the repair of pickleball court surfaces at Stanley Park and the pickleball and basketball court surfaces at Yellow Creek Park in the total amount of $19,935. The athletic surfaces at Yellow Creek and Stanley Park have developed cracks as they has aged. This quote is for the filling and repainting of the damaged surfaces only. Tennis Technology is the only vendor that will perform crack fill and repainting of damaged areas. They are a known vendor. There were no exceptions to the specification, and I would recommend approval.
Thank you, Ms. Sturgeon. Any questions or comments from the court? Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
N, Resolution 08-2026, establishing a Davis County Drainage Advisory Board.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. This is the same. Counselor, I'm gonna let you do the whereases on this item.
So a resolution of Davis County Fiscal Court establishing a Davis County Drainage Advisory Board. Whereas the Davis County Fiscal Court realizes the importance of effective drainage and desires to encourage the citizens of Davis County to participate in drainage projects. And whereas significant portions of the county are in a flood zone or in areas susceptible to flooding. And whereas flooding in rural or urban areas of the county cause significant economic loss to members of the population and affect the health and safety of the public. And whereas to improve the county's response and to advise the county on priorities for flood abatement by studying and recommending additional legal strategies for handling drainage and floodwaters. And whereas the Davis County Fiscal Court shall create the Davis County Drainage Advisory Board, which shall meet as directed by the Fiscal Court in this resolution, or as Fiscal Court may direct in the future to review, discuss, and recommend actions to Fiscal Court concerning drainage issues in Davis County. And whereas the Davis County Fiscal Court authorizes the county judge executive to make appointments to the Davis County Drainage Advisory Board, such appointments shall be placed on the agenda of any regular or special called meeting of the Fiscal Court. Now therefore, in consideration of these recitals and benefits, the Davis County Fiscal Court creates the Davis County Drainage Advisory Board, and then there's a number of sections, 6 sections.
Thank you. Is there any comments, questions about this resolution before we vote on it? I'm asking the court members. Commissioner Marksberry.
Thank you, Judge. I just wanted to note one concern with the revised language from when you started to put this on the last fiscal court agenda and then pulled it. I noticed some language has been changed or removed. I had asked whether the reference to the countywide drainage improvement program was the same thing as our stormwater maintenance program policy, and that question was never answered before the language was simply removed. By taking that reference out, I believe we may be limiting the board's ability to stay directly connected to the work we are trying to move forward. My concern is that we should make sure this board is given enough clarity and direction to be effective in addressing drainage issues for our county. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments? Commissioner Condor.
Thank you, Judge. Just a question, please, and for clarification, is Section 5, the repeal and replace. There have been some commentaries that have come, especially in that section. And maybe County Attorney Burley, you can address this. When it says this resolution repeals in full and replaces the Drainage Advisory Group Agreement for Davis County, Kentucky, dated November 3rd, 2011, and all prior Drainage Advisory Group agreements. To clarify, that means that group goes away and it is being replaced by this group. What happens with the work that the prior groups did? Is that affected at all, or does that stay in place?
Sir, so Section 5 does repeal and replace all prior resolutions regarding drainage advisory groups. I think to say otherwise would be specious. But because it expressly does it in this resolution, but it does not replace the work that was done from those prior boards. Whatever they did is going to stand. It's not going to, we're not going to go in and undo it. Does that answer your question? I didn't mean to evade it, but
It was just making clarification that the work that has been done by prior boards, regardless of how many there were, is still in place.
Correct.
And will still help with this committee going forward in whatever decisions or whatever problems that we have is going to be addressed in using some of that information. It's not going to like you're just going to get rid of it.
correct.
Thank you.
Yes, I agree.
That was one of the
They
major
can
questions.
build on what was done in the past,
Yes,
yes.
Yes.
Thank you, John, and
Thanks,
thank you,
Commissioner.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Casson, anything?
No, sir.
Anyone from the public wish to speak to this? Come ahead, sir, state your name and address for the record, and we'll hear what you have to say.
Darrell Chan, 7105 Old Highway 54, Philpott, Kentucky. Question, Your Honor and distinguished commissioners and other members. I have a question following along Mr. Connor's line that the information I have, we have a 2011 Drainage Advisory Group Agreement that is still in existence. And I think that is what Section 5 references to do away with, I think.
That is not correct, sir. When I pulled the item from the agenda, part of the reason that I pulled that is Commissioner Marksberry had sent an email about 72 hours prior to that meeting asking specifically about that language. I thought it was simply the same language that we had included in this resolution that was in the agreement that had been passed under the prior court. But under further review, we found out that in fact there had been a document that existed that was titled what you just said. The reality is I had our current county attorney and our prior county attorney who works for the current county attorney review that document and also review what we had done in 2012. And so the reality is in 2012, and I've got a lengthy or one-page email that was sent to me by Mr. Burlew. I can read it now, or if you want, you can keep on going on with your comments, and then I'll try to address them all.
Sir, go ahead.
Okay. And it says, Judge, you asked me to review the 2012 county stormwater maintenance document that was passed by fiscal court at that time and provide an opinion on its effect on the prior county resolution and/or ordinances, specifically Resolution 20-2002. The purpose of the 2012 stormwater maintenance policy is to encourage regular maintenance of Daviess County waterways, which will minimize local flooding, reduce stream channel erosion, and protect the health, safety, and property of Daviess County citizens. Additionally, the policy provides a framework and guideline for the county engineer and fiscal court to respond to requests from landowners for assistance in maintaining primary waterways in Daviess County, necessary to prevent pervasive and persistent local flooding and protect the health, safety, and welfare of Daviess County citizens. This is essentially language taken straight from the document. It is clear that the stormwater maintenance policy passed in 2012 supersedes all prior resolutions or programs and policies regarding stormwater maintenance and drainage, including the resolution regarding drainage that was passed in 2002. The minutes recorded in the fiscal court meeting in 2012, when the most recent drainage maintenance policy was passed, clearly state it was intent of fiscal court to supersede prior resolutions regarding this issue. In other words, the stormwater maintenance policy passed in 2012 is still in effect and controls. The stormwater maintenance policy provides some definitive criteria for the county engineer to determine whether a waterway qualifies for county assistance. This policy references recorded maintenance easements by adjoining landowners. These referenced recorded easements permit the county to access the defined waterways, but as you know, I do not feel the access to these properties is an issue. I'm sure we would be given permission to enter the land if the easements did not exist. Any county action should comply with all federal, state, and local laws and regulations and provide a general benefit to the health, safety, and welfare of Daviess County residents. I hope this helps. Signed, John Burlew.
So you're telling me, Your Honor, that the 2012 stormwater maintenance policy superseded the 11 Drainage Advisory Group Agreement of Daviess County? Is that
Yes.
what you're telling me?
Yes.
To the best of my recollection, I don't remember seeing anything in the drainage policy that indicates that the advisory group was disbanded. And to follow on that, here we are. We're considering a new resolution that is, as I see it, pretty similar to the resolution of 2011. Yet there is no chairman, there are no members, no significant money budgeted for drainage issues and creek maintenance in the county. So my question to you in the court is why at this time are we looking at a new resolution to be passed? And the follow-up to that is I would recommend to the court that this be tabled until further public review can take a look at certainly the documents that you have referenced.
Thank you, sir, but I think the review that I've had done was by our legal staff, and I think that's all the review that needs to be done, but thank you for your comments. Anyone else wish to speak to this issue? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. I think I heard 4 ayes.
O, appoint Janie Mahoney to the Ohio County Water Board effective May 1st, 2026 through April 30th of 2030.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I want to thank Ms. Mahoney for her agreeing to serve on this board, and also want to thank Carlin Gregory for serving 2 terms on this board. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3, consideration for discussion. A, other business to be brought before the Daviess County Fiscal Court, and there is none that I'm aware of. B, public comment.
This is a part of our meeting where we invite the public to come forward, state your name and address for the record, and speak to any item other than those items that have been covered by the agenda.
Allison Coombs, 7967 Ledan Bridge Road, Owensboro, and that's 42301. As a member of a group who worked diligently to assist with requested changes to the Owensboro Metropolitan Zoning Ordinance, Article 8, Scheduled Zones regarding solar energy and wind turbine leases in Daviess County, I'm concerned that there has been no reported movement on these changes. Judge Caslin, you requested input from our group of concerned citizens back in November, and we worked quickly and urgently to get those to you. Then this group, the Fiscal Court, extended the moratorium for an additional 6 months so that you could look further into this matter. However, we have not heard of any work or progression. With the elections coming up, and Rod Kegel, a candidate for Judge Executive who has an active solar lease, and someone with a direct conflict of interest who would be obligated to recuse himself if elected, why not address this now? Groups I have spoken to about this issue frequently ask me, What's happening with the solar issue? And unfortunately, I have to reply, nothing. I would think all of you running for office would like to be seen as a group who addresses issues and to not delay any longer. Counties around us here in Kentucky and adjoining states are all dealing with similar concerns. Note those of us that are surrounding landowners who are directly impacted, as well as those in Daviess County who could be impacted in the future, want to see this addressed now. Our research was extensive and thorough, and I would appreciate a reply as to why there is such a delay in addressing the needed ordinance changes. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak to any item other than the items that have been on the agenda?
C, comments by Daviess County Fiscal Court.
Commissioner Caslen.
Thanks, Judge. I want to thank everyone that participated in the Isaac Sterrett Foundation community cleanup that we had a week ago from Saturday. Don't know what the total amounts were, but I know it was a lot of different trash cleaned up throughout Daviess County, and always a concern. We've got a lot of college graduations coming up over the next couple of weeks before this next meeting. Congratulations to those people that are getting ready to graduate. And also want to remind everybody that our National Day of Prayer is coming up May 7th. There will actually be an event here on the grounds of the courthouse. If you want to check out our website or look us up and see what all else we've got going on to be part of that. And early voting starts May 14th, which is the next commission meeting.
Thank you. Commissioner Condor.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Judge. There's an individual in the audience, Mr. Byron Owen, I'd like to recognize. And Judge Executive Caslen, I believe you're a part of this group, the Men's Mass Community Choir, which if you've never heard them sing, they can carry a tune. I can't even tune a radio. But he was awarded recently the On the Battlefield Award by the Men's Mass Community Choir. He also serves on the Parks Committee. So I want to recognize him for his good work, not only that he's done with the choir itself, but also for the park. So thank you, Byron. It is much appreciated. Second is recently Baird Financial is moving, and they had a significant amount of their furniture that was fairly new, actually, but yet corporate said they wanted to get rid of everything. And so they reached out to some of the nonprofits in the community. One of them that actually used a large amount of their furniture is the Senior Citizen Center. They had a lot of furniture that was given to them to help them. The other is Rosemary and I took my truck and we made 3 trips and picked up some side chairs and recliners for the volunteer fire station. So I think that Chief Coleman is in the process of making sure that the volunteer stations realize those good chairs are out there to replace the ones that they wore out. So thank you to Baird for that generosity. Finally, to address Mr. Chin's comment about budgetary considerations on drainage. That discussion is in the budget now for the 26-27 budget. There are some discussions, I believe, going on now to either adjust, amend, or change that number. So just to clarify, there is going to be money, I believe, by this commission to address drainage head on. And the amount that will be there is the discussion part, even with a 30-foot excavator to assist instead of having to rent like we did recently to clear out some logs. So the monies, the dollar signs of that is happening. Make sure the community understands that this commission is putting some dollars into the drainage for the budget of 26-27. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Commissioner Connor. Commissioner Marksberry.
I believe when citizens bring their concerns to this court, we have the responsibility to address them. I want to talk about drainage first. I believe this advisory group needs the autonomy to get something done to help with the drainage and prevent flooding of our county roads. Will they be a true working group and the recommendations be addressed? I think that is why some folks, like Mr. Chen, have suggested maybe we wait on the vote. I went ahead and voted on this tonight because it needs to be done. We need to move forward. And as Commissioner Condor said, we are putting money in the budget for drainage. It is one thing that's being discussed. The second thing is the solar farm issue. I believe the public has waited long enough, and they have a right to know where Daviess County Fiscal Court stands on this issue. It has been months since this first came up, and it should be resolved by now. I did not want to put a 6-month extension. I was ready to move forward. And as Mrs. Coombs has suggested, Judge, you did ask them to send their documents, their hard work, everything they put into this. And we've had that since at least January of this year. And Commissioner Castlin and I met 2 different occasions. We went over it line by line and we spent at least 4 hours going over this. And then we gave it to the judge. We gave it to you. And that's been several months ago now. I really don't understand what the holdup is as well, and I think we definitely need to move on this, and we need to move on it before the primary election. We do not need to make this a political issue. The other thing that I would like to discuss, Commissioner Condor, you had asked for an audit of ITV with the animal shelter. I do have some information that was given to me by our county treasurer, who has some financial information, but he also obtained some information from some of the workers there. I've not released that publicly, but I'm going to soon. And the fact is that the animals that have died in that shelter has gone up a tremendous amount versus what was there when before ITV took over. We went out there the other day, there was no cats. They say that they've took them to a rescue. But how do we really know what's happening to these animals? There's no accountability. And I've got one more thing I want to pass out to the commissioners and to the judge tonight. This is a text that was sent to Dr. Julie Gray, her last day of being the full-time vet at our animal shelter, where ITV, who claims they are a no-kill shelter, asked her to mass euthanize a large amount of dogs and cats. If this is not proof enough for this court to take this back, I don't know what else we need. So I am asking that we please consider take back our animal shelter. It's not serving the public. They don't open till noon, and they are turning animals away. And I got a text just this morning from someone else who had a neighbor that they don't have internet service at their house. They live in a 1-bedroom apartment, and they had to give up one of their animals for whatever reason. ITV makes them go online and fill out an application to just turn their animal over. And they didn't even have that opportunity because they don't have internet. So, you know, we're not serving our county residents or our county animals. And I really would like for us to take a hard look at this. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm going to speak first to the, we've already addressed this so-called mass euthanasia story. That was one that a former employee had
Excuse me,
called
Judge, that's not the same. This is to the vet while she was working at the shelter.
I understand.
It was not anything to do with animal control. It was the own shelter vet. That is her text message.
I'm going to start again,
Okay.
and I'm going to gavel you down if you interrupt me again. The reality is, you've had your time to speak, Commissioner. The reality is, no, I've seen this text before, and it was actually mentioned, I believe, in the Owensboro Times article, but I won't swear to that, because I had wondered where the lie of mass euthanasias had come from, because I know the sheriff never used the phrase, and I know Charlie Casson, Judge Executive, never used the phrase. the reality is that, to your point, that Dr. Gray, and I've seen this text before, the screenshot, that there was either one or two hoarding cases of cats came in, and they are absolutely, you can't domesticate a cat that's been in a hoarding situation. And they are euthanized. And she had been asked to euthanize them because she was about to leave anyway, she just refused to do it. And so I'm gonna just say that's an old story. So the other thing that I want to address is regarding Ms. Coombs' comments on the solar. I was asked repeatedly to give you all time to get your information ready for me, and you did work on it, and my point of contact has been Ms. Demarest. And I gave her a deadline, and it was November 15th, I believe, I'm not sure. And she did get that to me, and I'm not sure if it was exactly that day, but it was pretty close. And then I know that to Commissioner Marksberry's comments, she and Commissioner Caslin did meet with, I think, Kimberly, and also with someone who had recently retired from the utility industry. And then they passed their information on to me. I have had a number of conversations with other elected, my peers, if you will, in other counties to see what they've been doing and what kind of I'm gonna call it an onslaught. And lest anybody watching wonders, Charlie Casson is absolutely opposed to solar farms in Daviess County. When I first met with Lester, and that was shortly after Lester Morales, that was shortly after I became judge executive, and he told me they were hoping to do a solar farm. I flat out told him that the only place I'd like to see solar is on rooftops and over parking lots, and that our farmland should be left alone and should be used for farming. And because it can't, if it's solar, it can't be used for farming. One thing that as I've talked to my peers, I found out in Breckenridge County, they've got 24,000 acres that are leased to solar farms. And they did a 2,000-foot setback in order to try to stop it. They've been sued. I talked to Rich Ornstein, the KCO attorney, and he said that they won their lawsuit at the first level. It's being appealed by the solar farm people or landowners. I'm not sure which. So that's still ongoing. I believe Caldwell County is another county that's been sued, and they also won. And it's in the same stage that the Breckenridge County is. Just recently, I was invited to attend a planning and zoning meeting in Henderson. I got a letter from them asking me, that was on April 7th. And so I intentionally held off my review of our documents because I wanted to see what they are actually going a different approach than we are. They are doing changing their, John, Counselor, I'm sorry, help me, the verbiage of goals and objectives of their comprehensive plan. They actually voted to change their goals and objectives to severely limit what's reviewed and what's the decision process that's used in whether or not you would even allow solar farms. And they already have 6,000 acres. They have, I believe it's 24,000 acres more that's under lease but hasn't started because they did, I believe, a 2-year moratorium. And then the last part that they had on that was they tried, the citizens that were there, and they were very educated just like you and your group. on all the solar and became experts out of necessity, I guess. The reality is that they tried to get the Planning and Zoning Board to include wind farms because they have, I believe it's a 93 wind farm, 93 separate windmills that would be erected in a massive wind farm that would border the border, the edge of Henderson that the border is shared with Daviess County. So the Stanley area would be impacted. And these are Daviess County communities: Stanley, Burke City, Sargo, Curdsville. All those would be impacted by the windmills that are across the river that we in Daviess County can't do anything to do. I reached out to, during the legislative session, to Senator Gary Boswell, also to Representative DJ Johnson, also Suzanne Miles, Representative Miles, asking all of them to please get busy and do something to protect our county from Henderson's, because we can't do anything, yet it's going to certainly impact our communities. And they passed something. I've not had a chance to review that. I did send the link to the man and woman who had reached out to me from Henderson County. They were actually there the night that they were talking about the solar, and shared that link with them. I'll just say they were disappointed with the language. They reached out to me just letting me know that they were disappointed in the language. And so I have met with both Commissioner Casson. As you know, we can't meet but one at a time. I can only meet with commissioners one at a time, or we have an illegal quorum. And so I did meet with Commissioner Casson to go over his concerns that he had. He did a really good job with in the margins, notating different concerns that he and the others that were in the meeting, including Commissioner Marksberry, the concerns they had. And so he and I went through those. And then on this past Friday, I met with Commissioner Marksberry. I think each of those meetings was right at about an hour and a half that we spent reviewing those. And so we are moving. It's one thought that we've had, one discussion we've had is, do we need to have an expert hired? And I talked to Judge Snyder over at Henderson. They actually hired a solar expert attorney to assist them with the direction that they should go. And I thought he said that they put $80,000 in the planning and zoning's budget specifically so they could hire consultants to guide them and be able to answer questions and make sure that they were following the law, so that when whatever changes they actually implement are indeed, how do I want to say this, that they are indeed legal and are going to withstand a court challenge. Because I'm sure with with 24,000 leases, that if they all go in, they'll have 30,000 leased. As solar farms. Right now, I believe Breckinridge County only has 1,200 acres that actually has solar panels on them. And they share an 1,800 acre development with Meade County. 600 acres is in one county, 1,200 is in the other. And I'm not sure of the split, which county's which. But I do know that when I looked at the 24,000, that's fully 10 in Breckinridge County that they have leased. That's 10% of the agricultural land that they have in Breckinridge County, and it's absolutely something that I believe needs to be stopped. And I wish that the state legislature would just stop it, but they're not going to. They're leaving it to us in each county, and so anyway, that's that. And I'm going to reiterate again, I said from the very beginning, and I've been quoted in the paper saying that what I started out saying, that I don't like solar farms. The place for solar panels is on the rooftops and over parking lots, because that's a dual use of each of those when you do that. And I see a number of homes around town that and businesses that have solar panels on them, and I say good for them, you know. The other thing, I just have some notes on some other things that I want to mention. Trash, I'm surprised nobody stood up and said anything about trash, you know, but I do want to say that all of the trucks that Davis County Fiscal Court owns and deliver trash with, from the transfer station to the landfill, now have the new tarp systems. Thank you, Ms. Sturgeon. And of course, we'll be taking over the Henderson on July 1, I believe it is, or it's June 1. July 1. And when we do that, we'll have the new tarp systems as well. And I know I've gotten calls from people that live along Audubon coming from Henderson that are flustered, frustrated about that. I think we've done a lot of good in that realm. I want to thank Christ Gospel Church, Green Valley Beekeepers Association, the Montserrat Lodge 379, St. Alphonsus Youth Group, St. Elizabeth Catholic Church, St. Joseph Peace Mission, and Young Life. They all collected on the Cash for Trash program almost over a ton, 2,880 pounds. Davis County Detention Center, want to thank them. Their collection team's almost 20 tons so far year to date. And our contract with Gish, they've picked up about 3 tons. Want to express my condolences to the family and friends for the passing of Crittenden County Sheriff Deputy Rick Coyle. He was shot in the line of duty on April 2nd, and he passed away this morning from his injuries. And Sheriff, you might have been acquainted with him, but I know, you know, you guys, we appreciate all the work y'all do for us and keeping our community safe. And that's not something we hear about every day, but we hear about it too often. And may God bless us. So, Commissioner Casson, you mentioned National Day of Prayer, so I will scratch that one. Barbecue and barrels, I don't know if anybody mentioned that, will begin Friday, May 8th. I just want to encourage folks to come out and enjoy have a good time. Commissioner Connor mentioned to me that next week is the Correctional Officers Appreciation Week, and I just want to read this, and I think I'm going to get together with Jailer Maglinger and see if we can't present a proclamation to them. But these men and women show up every day to do an incredibly challenging and often thankless job, keeping our communities safe while treating others with professionalism and respect. Correctional deputies are truly the unsung heroes of law enforcement. Their work often happens out of the spotlight, but it matters deeply and deserves recognition. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the commitment to serve. With this being recognized, I would like to request all of our Davis County citizens to show appreciation to our jail officers with a simple gesture of thank you, sending notes, baked goods, or small tokens of appreciation. It will make a difference, and I know they will appreciate it. Commissioner Casson, I believe you started your law enforcement career at the detention center, so thank you, sir. And I know Commissioner Casson mentioned that the primary elections around the corner. Early voting is May 14th and 16th, and the primary is May 19th, 6 to 6. On the early voting, those days, those hours are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and that will be at the Sports Center only. There are 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 14 polling locations on election day itself. Anything else, Brooke? Without further business, this meeting is adjourned.
News here. Super duper. Are you leaky?